I don't know nothing, so I'm open to learning something from everybody. Should we rely on tangible outside sources to conquer mental health issues?
I'm gonna ask that one more time.
Should we rely on tangible outside sources to conquer mental health issues?
I'm gonna say no, because at the end of the day, you know, if you didn't have those resources, you won't be able to get through it. I want to piggyback off what Miss Beverly had said earlier. I used to take pills when I was in college.
Miss King.
Oh, she told me to call her Miss Beverly. That was a conversation we had over here.
Okay.
That's still cool?
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I was taking, I think it was Lexapro. And like she said, it take away everything. You don't cry, you don't feel nothing. And I came off of it, I was just like, goodness gracious. You know, I didn't know what to do. And so for me, and everybody has their own personal journey. So I say we shouldn't rely on the resources, but what I learned from it, I said, God, if I can't get through this with God, to having faith in God, then I'm just gonna die from it. And I just kind of made that decision that day. But again, if it wasn't the pills kind of masking it for me and seeing that I had to go inside myself to overcome this, then I don't think I would ever probably caught it like that. So it is different things you can take from using those resources, but I don't think we should rely on it, because at the end of the day, like if The Walking Dead, a zombie apocalypse happened, you know, what we gonna do, you know? You never know. So you never know when those resources might run out. You never know what might happen, and the best resource you have is inside of you.
What about y'all?
Yeah, I have a chemical imbalance, and my doctor told me if you out on a desert island somewhere by yourself, you better take your medicine with you. The house is on fire, you know, forget the kids and her, get your medicine, because I have tried to function without it. Like I said, I was 29 when I was diagnosed, and I didn't realize that it takes 3 to 6 weeks for the medication to get into your system. And so after that 3 to 6 weeks, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good. I'm like, oh, I'm back to myself. I'm feeling good. I don't need this medication. I stopped taking the medicine and crash. And I go to my doctor, you been taking your medication? No, I don't need it. I have to get back on it. And it took me years to finally realize, you know, I need this outside source. I have a chemical imbalance. And just like somebody with high blood pressure, have to take medicine for high blood pressure. You got diabetes, you got to take insulin.
Let me add to that. They can also change their diet.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the resources. I wasn't taught. I didn't get that opportunity to, but because my experiences was when I would get off the medication. Just like I was saying earlier, I don't know why this medication that I was taking, it just stopped working, and I just crashed. I was taking it, so I guess my body had got used to it after all them years. So
Yeah.
I just want to try to fill in the gap if I can, Gaplord.
Go ahead.
I think
And they call me Gap because I have a Gap.
I think it's about knowing how to use your resources. If there's something that you can't find inside of you, they're not a part of, you know, being a knowledgeable individual, is knowing when you need to use things outside of you and access those resources. So I think a strategy is learning how to access, you know, first locate those resources and then know how to access them, you know, if that opportunity presents itself, because you have a limited capacity in things. You know, I'm an expert in a certain number of fields and topics.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a kinesiologist.
Yeah.
You know, I know how the body moves, but I can't tell you, you know, the nuts and bolts of kinesiology. You know, so that's one thing that you have to be able to do is learn who does have that knowledge and learn how to, you know, access it from them or extract that from them.
And to add to that, that's even after you have to recognize it first. So you might not even know till you're 40. Some people recognize it earlier, some people recognize it later.
Right.
So just to add to that little comment you said.
Can you repeat that question? I want to make sure I answer this question correctly.
Okay.
Should we use it, or I mean, what was it?
Should we rely on tangible outside
Rely.
sources to conquer our mental health issues?
I'm conflicted. I'm very much conflicted with that.
And again, there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I think like in the past, I would have just been like a flat out like no, you know. I also had like a really bad car accident, right? And so my L5-S1 disc got herniated really bad. So
L5,
my
L5,
bad.
1.
So my lumbar 5, and then my okay, all right.
You don't know
Your spine.
Yeah,
Your
my spine.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't know it until you do.
Yeah, you know? So my spine is not in alignment, basically. Okay. So in my lower back. And so with it was like so much pain. So, aggravating, like I couldn't sit down for a long time, or like 5 minutes. I couldn't stand up for 5 minutes or whatever. I lost like the ability to walk for a little bit or whatever as well, for like about a good like 9 months. Even like some of the medication that my doctor was prescribing to me wasn't necessarily working, for my particular pain. Or if it did, then it might have like helped me up and then made me more frustrated and stuff like that, because I wasn't getting sleep. And then it, gave me like massive headaches and migraines or whatever. One of our classmates, Franco, shout out to her, she had, me and her, we had like reconnected, and she had introduced me to essential oils. And so, so I did like some studying and some reading up on it myself. And there was like this description, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there's a scripture in the Bible where it said that, if any of you are sick, then go to the elders and have them lay hands upon you with oils, right? And so with that, with the oils, the oils are derived from plants, right? Mm-hmm. And so with the oils being derived from the plants, there are specific plants that are for specific things. You would use like peppermint for pain. You would use like lavender for like sleep. And those are just some basic examples or whatever, right? And so when I started like, using those and they were like helping, I was like, well, and they can also help with different like mental health or whatever issues as well. And so with that, when I started using it, that's when the conflict came. So I said, well, shoot, this is a plant, this is a natural substance. Then how is what I'm doing with these essential oils different from anyone else that is using marijuana? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so for that reason, that's why I feel like I'm like conflicted, or any other, drug, so to speak. Because that one is a natural whatever substance as well now. No shade to anybody, that stuff stank to me. But, you know what I'm saying? And there's some essential oils that stink too. Yeah, for that reason, I'm conflicted, but going back to the word that you use though is rely. I don't think that we should necessarily rely on it, like be dependent upon that for my mental health, so to speak. I do understand that there are different extremities though.
Yeah, I agree. That was the key word, rely.
Yeah.
See how I slipped that in there?
Yeah.
So yeah, even myself, I relied on outside substances at one point in my life to handle tough situations in my life. But I found it only got me deeper in the hole in what I was dealing with. But when I finally stopped and just looked in the mirror, took accountability, and faced my situations head on, it worked best for me. I can't say what works best for other people, but my life has been amazing since I stopped making excuses and looking in the mirror, facing things that was obstacles for me, and realizing even like things that my parents may have, trauma they have brought upon me has been caused from their parents. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, they didn't even know no better. They thought this was normal.
Yeah.
And even like raising my kids, it's like, well, hold on, let me catch myself. That's not normal. Let me bring it back a little bit. I'm sorry. I think it's a lot of accountability and realizing, and like I said earlier, not everybody realizes at the same time. You can end up being 60, 70 years old and still thinking in that same way.
Yeah.
And it's technically not really even your fault because that's how you was brought up. But I don't feel like we should ever, me personally now, I feel like I think it's best not to rely on outside substances.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Y'all make valid points at the same time. So these are my funny questions, but there are also some very good ones. Let me start with the light ones. So is gang violence a result of mental health issues?
Sandwich with the wrong side of the bread. Thought I made it by a landslide, but instead I'm still hungover. Sometimes I make the wrong phone call after dark. Sometimes I make the wrong turn, then I have to pause. I know exactly how this ends.